Hello everyone, I'm JG. Welcome back to Music Forever, where today we are reviewing the new Creeper album, Eternity in Your Arms. Creeper are a new and up-and-coming rock group that have really gained a fan base in the previous few years, I guess you could say. I discovered this group through some YouTubers that I watched. They were talking about this group, and I decided to check out their new album, actually their first album. They had 3 EPs that were released before this. That's kind of how they built up their fan base. However, I jumped on board with this album. I figured it might be a good place to start, and after listening to this project, I don't think it was a bad place to start. Creeper's sound could be described as a mix of pop punk and horror punk, I would say. And what I mean by that in terms of the pop punk element is that they definitely have some poppy elements, like very catchy hooks, sort of anthemic sounds. They lack the sort of hardcore, straightforward energy that's found in hardcore punk. And these songs are definitely not very short in length. But they definitely have those horror punk elements in terms of their styling and their sound. This just gives off a very creepy, mysterious vibe to them. It's not very like a very scary sort of thing, but it's just kind of creepy atmosphere that I think fits this album very well. It's definitely a new sort of sound that I haven't really heard many pop punk bands do, and it's definitely something that I think this band is going to be able to take advantage of in terms of popularizing the sound and kind of using it to their advantage to make a name for themselves. Another very interesting aspect about this band is the vocals. While they have one lead vocalist that kind of, does most of the vocals, I would say, they have a second lead vocalist, and it's a female lead vocalist as opposed to the other lead vocalist that's a male vocalist. And, I really like how they can mix the male and lead vocals at times on this album. I'm not going to say that they share lead vocal duties because the male vocals do take up the majority of this album space. However, the female vocals have a chance to shine on tracks such as the first track here, Black Rain. I really love that track, one of my favorites on the album. It just has a really nice chorus, and I love how they mix, the two different vocal styles. It's overall probably my favorite song on the album. The mix of the vocals could also be seen at the end of the track, Room 309 or 309, and on the track Crickets, which the female vocals take the lead role on this entire track, which I think is a very cool concept, letting it take the center stage. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of this track's lyrics, I think they're a bit melodramatic. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I really do like the actual vocals of the track and the more stripped back acoustic sound to them. There are some other slower moments on this album, such as Misery, which was a track that didn't really stand out to me at first, but with time grew to be one of my favorite ones here. And then the track that closes off this project, I Choose to Live, which really isn't one of my favorites either. It might be my least favorite on the album. I'm just not a big fan of the lyrics here either. But, this track and Crickets are probably my least favorites, and that's not to say that they're bad songs either. And then, compared to these slower songs, the rest of the track listing has a lot more, upbeat punk energy to them that I really enjoy. I especially love how the bass guitar is at times given a chance to shine. It's very audible at points in this album, which, if you're familiar with bass guitar, lots of people, like to joke around that it's not that important because you don't hear it as much. But if you're like me and you know music a lot, you know just how important the bass guitar is. And I love how they get to show off here on this album exactly why that is with some really cool bass moments. And another aspect of this album that I'm really enjoying is some of the hooks here. Very catchy, like I said, the first track, Black Rain, and then the track Hiding with Boys, one of the songs that I looked up actually before this album was released. It was released as a single, and that song has also been stuck in my head a lot ever since turning this album on. Suzanne and Poison Pens are two very aggressive tracks that come at the beginning of this album, and I really like how they get to show off the more punk side of this band as opposed to possibly the more pop moments, I guess you could say. I don't really want to consider them pop, but some of the slower moments do seem like that at times. And I really like how they get to mix the slower parts and the faster parts on this album. I think it really shows off the diversity of this group and what they're going to be able to do in the future. So overall, I'm very much enjoying this new Creeper project. I think that this band has a very promising future if they keep up the work here. This is their first album. I'm very excited to see what they're doing by their, third and fourth album. I hope they don't lose momentum, though. That would really be a disappointment, especially given how, much potential I could see here on this project. If I had any complaints here is that, as I said before, the lyrics on some of the tracks aren't my favorite. That's not to say they're bad, it's just I don't like them as much as I do on other tracks. And I think towards the end of this album, a few of the tracks, aren't quite as interesting as they are at the beginning of the project. But, I'm just nitpicking at this point. This is a pretty good project in my opinion. And if you haven't listened to Creeper yet, or you haven't decided to check them out, you really need to do that, especially if you're out looking for new pop-punk bands that are, a bit different, maybe even just punk bands in general that are different or alternative rock. You need to check this out. This is definitely something that needs to be on your radar. So I think that sums up my opinion on this album pretty well. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future reviews and other music-related content. And leave a comment down below if you have anything that you'd like to add or say. I'd greatly appreciate to see what you thought of this album and any other recommendations that you'd want to see on the channel. Thanks for watching, and stay golden!